All right, let's dive right in. We're going to explore a choice, a really fundamental one that sits at the very heart of existence itself. You can think of it as a kind of cosmic bet, all framed through the journey of this figure, Wutan. And it forces everyone to pick between two totally different ways of being.
But first, let me just throw this out there because it really sets the stage for everything we're about to talk about. What if that thing you crave the most, that feeling of security, of comfort, of safety, what if that was actually the biggest threat you've ever faced? So, this whole journey we're talking about, it's not just a story. It's really a test, an existential referendum, if you will, a cosmic wager for the very soul of humanity. And it lays out two paths, two completely different futures for what we could all become. And here they are, laid out plain and simple. On one side, you have comfort. This is the path of what's called the last man. It leads to the state of, sweet oblivion, total security. But on the other side, you've got self-overcoming. This is the path of the overman, and it offers a pretty terrifying kind of freedom, but with it, the promise of nonstop growth. This right here, this is the core conflict.
Okay, so let's dig into that first path, the seduction of comfort. I mean, it's presented as this incredibly attractive option, and this is a big but, it comes with a steep hidden price. It's the sweet, alluring path of just giving in. So what's the philosophy driving this choice? It's this concept called slave morality. Now, what's so fascinating here is how it's defined. It's not about being evil or bad. It's about retreat. It's a retreat into pity, for yourself and for others. A retreat into resentment for anyone who's stronger, and this deep, desperate need for the safety of rules and structures you already know. And you can see all the pieces here. This whole path is built on that pity and resentment. It's all about clinging to safety. And who's its biggest fan? The ultimate cynic, Mephistopheles, who's betting that everyone, even the absolute strongest among us, will eventually just break and beg for comfort. And where does it all lead? To the last weakest man, a person for whom all struggle, and therefore all possibility of growth, is completely over. Man, this phrase just captures the pull of it all, doesn't it? It's not about being strong. It's about being let off the hook. It's the promise that the struggle can end, that you can go back to that comforting lie that everything is just fine the way it is. Now, let's flip the coin and look at the total opposite. Here we have the burden of freedom. And listen to those words, burden, terrible. Yeah, this path is not sold as the easy or fun option. It's a demanding, relentless push to become more. This whole drive is called self-overcoming, and it's a terrible freedom because it strips away every single one of your excuses. It's fueled by something called the all-will, this impersonal, cosmic force of pure, unending growth that doesn't care about your feelings. It just demands one thing, that you become more than you are right now. And you better believe this path asks a lot of you. It demands you reject pity. It asks you to tear down all your mental shelters, all those cozy beliefs that make you feel safe. It means you have to move beyond regular compassion. Instead of trying to heal wounds, this path gives a verdict. You must surpass your limitations. I mean, that quote is pretty chilling, right? It's talking about a kind of post-human morality. It's not about being cruel for the sake of it. It's about operating on a totally different level, where the old familiar rules of human emotion just aren't the main guide anymore. Growth is the only guide. So here's a crucial part. This isn't some choice you make once and you're done. No, the source material is very clear. This is an ongoing test. It's a verdict that's being decided in every single moment of your life. And the stakes, they are absolutely massive. First, for society, what the text calls the herd. When Wotan shows up, his very presence forces a choice on everyone. Are you going to cling to your comfortable delusions, or are you going to take this terrifying new path? And second, the ultimate endgame. If comfort wins, it's not a happy ending. It is the total stagnation of our entire species, the end of ever becoming anything more. And you gotta understand, Wotan isn't some cartoon villain trying to wreck things just for kicks. His purpose isn't malice. It's more like his very existence is like a spotlight that shines on all of humanity's cozy little comforts and reveals them for what they are, obsolete delusions that are just holding us back. This path, self-overcoming, is called a Dionysian truth, named after Dionysus, the Greek god of chaos, wine, and ecstasy. It represents a reality that is wild, untamed, and, fundamentally terrifying, especially if you've built your whole life around the neat, orderly, predictable world of comfort. And this all brings us to one last, really powerful metaphor that just crystallizes this entire existential choice. It's all about a sailor, a ship, and a storm. Let's just sit with that for a second. The sailor ties himself to the mast to feel secure. And hey, it solves the immediate problem of falling overboard. But in making that choice, he completely misses the point. The ship itself, our life, our potential, it was never meant to be just a floating prison. It was built to sail through the storm. By choosing comfort, the sailor has trapped himself using the very thing that was meant to set him free. And that leaves us with one last question, a question for all of us, really. In our world, in an age that seems to value comfort and safety above almost everything else, what happens to that other path? What becomes of the will to actually traverse the storm?